everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, March 26th. Now, a christening is never just a christening in Genoa City. In fact, I think that Lucy's christening was probably the most dramatic christening in the history of ever. It was full of drama. It was drama beforehand with Lucy's birth certificate. Billy found out that he didn't have the correct birth certificate, so he flew into a tizzy trying to get the right one so that he could have his daughter's christening. We had Jana squirming through the entire christening ceremony. She wanted to get away because she's hot on the trail of Daisy's baby. We had Nikki sneak drinking in the foyer. I'll get into that later. I can't even fully express how terrible that is to you right at this moment. We had Jill taking pot shots at Nikki as she's taking secret swigs of liquor out in the foyer. We had a very intense conflict between Ashley and Catherine. It was very noteworthy. Catherine is trying to convince Ashley that it's not personal to her that Catherine has decided to disallow that she and Tucker's wedding to take place at Catherine's house. She's trying to tell Ashley that it has nothing to do with her personally, and in fact, Catherine tried to convince Ashley to back out of the marriage to Tucker, her son. It was intense, but Ashley was not having any of it. Ashley gave back as good as she took. She made some very good points, and she threw down the John card. Anytime somebody throws down the John card, you just know it's not going to be good. At the same time, we had Abby making the rounds, trying to figure out where exactly she was fitting in to this new company that they had not yet acquired, making plans, putting the cart before the horse, as they say. And of course, a horse. We had Jack scrambling, as always, lobbying to try to get control of Jabot into infinity. He's infinitely trying to get control of Jabot. It was so inappropriate, though. All of these things so inappropriate at a child's christening. But Tracy actually tore into Jack at the christening. I mean, for one thing, because it was highly inappropriate, but you know, he's constantly fixed on getting Jabot back, getting back at Victor. This is what drives him. Of course, I love it, by the way, and I love it on Victor's end too. But he's constantly fixated on this, and Tracy Tracy never really loses her cool, but this time she did. She tore right into Jack, and she said, "This is exactly the type of attitude, this feud is what took Colleen, my daughter, from us, and yet you still continue to do it." And she also said, she threw down the John card too. She said, you know, if you want to be like our father, it's not about Jabot. Just be like him. Be the father that he was, because he always put his family first. That's how you can honor John's memory. And I'm telling you, every time that woman is on screen, it's like magic. She blows me away. I mean, she had me in tears. Every time she opens her mouth, she has me in tears, it seems. But she is magic, and she's on the right amount too. She's on just the right amount. It's not too little. It's not too much. I don't want to see full-time Tracy because I don't want to ruin this. You know, her coming in as this wise owl. I love her in that role. She just comes in with this wisdom, and I totally enjoy it. I feel like she's on the right amount. And I hope Y&R keeps it right where it is, because I love it. I really love it. The hugest drama at this christening. We had another will he or won't he show up moment from Victor. It was like one of 1000. But it was, will he show up at the christening to support Victoria? Nikki, of course, had to nag him to get him there, to even get him to acknowledge. I don't even think he's ever really even met his new granddaughter. But it was the same thing at Victoria's wedding. Is Victor going to show up to support the family, or is he not going to? And of course, I cried. So ashamed of myself, but I cried when Victor showed up. But it's ridiculous. What good does it do? It's just Victor making an effort, but not really. Not fully. It's him paying lip service, but he's not fully there. He's not truly there to support anyone. He, at that point, was just showing his face right before he decided to drop the other shoe. Well, I think that Nick actually put it best. He said, Dad just held a press conference to tell us all to go to hell. It was beautiful. And the most beautiful thing of it all was that the week started out with Victoria getting Nick and Abby on board with her beauty of nature plan. Instead of getting $1 billion each, Victoria somehow persuaded Nick and Abby that having beauty of nature was better. I don't even ask me how she did it. I have no clue how she managed to convince these people, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nick could care less about business and less about Newman and even less about beauty of nature. I don't think Nick cares at all about business. I just feel like his passions are elsewhere. And I also feel like Victoria had an opportunity to get away from Genoa City, to go to Italy and be an artist for a while, and Nick never had that chance. Nick was always thrust into the center of the storm at Newman, and I don't feel like he ever really enjoyed it. I feel like Nick was at his happiest when he was running the coffee house. I don't think he was ever cut out to be the businessman the way that I think Victoria was. I mean, you can tell it. It's right there. The writing is on the wall. And I feel like Nick deserves a chance to explore his own interests. Don't you? I mean, wouldn't you just love to see Nick in a different kind of role? But instead, he let his sister talk him in to putting all of their eggs in the same basket, really. That's all it was. And Abby, on the other hand, well, we know where Abby's interests lie. I mean, honestly, her interests are with herself. I truly thought that we were over the naked heiress thing. I felt like we had seen a new, mature Abby and that we were evolving past the naked heiress. But no, Abby decided to call her own press conference this week to announce that she's moving forward with the Naked Heiress TV show that she has no money for, by the way, no backing for, by the way, but she still held a press conference to announce this. And of course, she drops trow, gets totally nude at the press conference, and I'm thinking, can you imagine standing there at a press conference trying to talk seriously to people about a project with your full bush hanging out? I can't even imagine. Apparently Abby and I are just not cut from the same cloth, because I mean, she's literally talking to these reporters, having a serious conversation while totally nude. And like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like I said, I'm just a different beast. Apparently, I feel like hasn't she ever heard that less is more? Less is far more. And frankly, I just think that, getting thrown in jail for public nudity, it was shocking the first time, but now it's just getting old. It's not cute anymore. It's time to move on. It's time to get a new shtick. But she had this conversation with a TV executive this week, and she's starting to realize, I hope, finally, that she's not gonna be able to do things the way she wants to do them. She's not gonna be able to call the shots unless she's calling the shots. And it's so strange because Abby seems to have altruistic intentions. You know, she always says that she wants to use the Naked Heiress as a vehicle to do more politically oriented, you know, to raise awareness about political issues or whatever they are. But, you know, she just totally goes about it the wrong way. If you want to be a political activist, be a political activist. She just has some growing up to do. We've all been there. So I'm not going to judge her too harshly. But, sorry, just get comfortable. She is, I think, starting to realize that she's not going to be able to call these shots unless she is her own boss. And so what is it that she does? She goes directly to Victoria and gets in on this whole beauty of nature deal. And I'm thinking, whatever happened to the idea that getting money from Victor was supposed to give you freedom? That was supposed to release you from having to do what other people want you to do. I mean, I feel like there's an in-between here that she's just missing. You know, it's not one or the other. It's not the Naked Heiress craziness or beauty of nature, which is a total compromise on her ideals, whatever they may be. And I feel like, this week when Victoria was trying to convince her to sign on to Beauty of Nature, Victoria was laying it on thick. I mean, it was all smiles, and we're sisters, and we're family, and I want you to be a part of this company someday, and our children can run this company together someday, and you just know Victoria is playing her like a fiddle. It was shameful on Victoria's part, and sad, really, on Abby's part. I feel like Victoria was using Abby more than Victor ever did, more than he ever would have considered. And honestly, even before Victor held his press conference, Abby had already resigned herself to taking a back seat to her brother and sister's will. She was following Nick around at the christening, asking him how he envisioned her business card at Beauty of Nature, how he envisioned her role at the company. And I mean, come on, figure it out yourself. You want to be a self-made woman? You want to be independent? It's time for you to step up and grab it. You don't ask your brother and your sister what your role is. You step it up. If this is what you want for your future, you step it up and you decide what your role is. I could probably rant all day on that. For some reason, it just struck a chord with me. Oh well. Because the best laid plans. Victoria and Abby and Nick putting their eggs in this basket before they've hatched. I really feel like they should have known better. It was all leading up to they should have known better, because I really hope everybody got to watch this week. Some people say that they're not watching the show, they're kind of just watching me for recaps, but I really hope you got to watch it this week, because Victor calls this press conference, and it's on every channel in Genoa City. It's breaking news, Victor Newman press conference. And he announces to the world that Newman Enterprises will cease to be the world's largest privately held corporation because Newman Enterprises is going public. Wow! He's taking his company public. Shocking! I just felt like that was just a great moment. I just was so just enthralled by it. And it was the look on everyone's faces as they realized that they had just been had and that Victor had just one-upped them. Even though Victor was by far the underdog, he managed to just one-up them. And I also love that, you know, earlier in the week, he was just letting them believe that he was going to give up Beauty of Nature. That, yeah, I guess he even told Vance, well, it seems like that must be the way to go. I'll just give him Beauty of Nature. That'll be the easiest thing. And oh no, he had an ace up his sleeve. And I truly just loved the way it unfolded, that everyone was at Victoria's house watching the television and together, and we were able to just see their reactions unfold. And they took the time to show that, like the blow by blow, we got to see everyone's reactions. And I mean, Nikki was like devastated. This is just another unclimbable mountain, for her and for her family. Of course, Victoria and Nick and Abby are like shocked. Like, what? They were so not expecting this. And even Jack was dumbfounded. He just seemed like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Whereas Tucker was thrilled. Tucker was like salivating. You could just see him. He just sat back like, oh yeah, he's taking it public, so, like Tucker just sees an opportunity. He doesn't even see a problem. He just automatically sees an opportunity. Maybe that's what I like about him. And best of all, Catherine knew the whole time. Catherine just sat there and let it all unfold, and she knew it. She knew that was Victor's plan. Early in the week, she and Victor had a conversation at the ranch, and I thought, and they didn't reveal anything, but I thought, Catherine and Victor have a plan. I don't know what it is, but they have a plan. You can bet on it. And I'm telling you, I think we're just beginning to see the plan peak above the surface, because there's way more to come for this. I almost kind of wonder if Catherine's not going to buy some of it. If Catherine isn't going to end up being another major shareholder in Newman. I don't know, because she has definitely drawn her line. She has said that I don't agree with my son Tucker, and I am taking a stance against him. I am siding with Victor. The battle lines have been drawn here. And I don't know what Nikki's going to think about that. It's going to continue to cause issues with Tucker and Ashley and Catherine. And I just think it's beautiful. I feel like this is the type of dynamic business storyline that I love, that I've been waiting for, and that I want to see more of. I totally love it. And I have to tell you guys, I am ready to buy some Newman stock ASAP. Now that it is on the market, I'm ready to buy into Newman. It's publicly traded, so let's get out our money. Let's get out our newspapers. Let's watch the stocks. I'll tell you what, I'll take 1 million shares of Newman Enterprises right now. Where do I wire my money? So, Nikki and Vance, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? They had lunch this week, although Nikki insists sometimes a lunch date is just a date. But, yeah, Nikki and Vance never occurred to me. Of course, it never occurred to me that Vance will be back in town this week. One thing's for sure, it's a really good way to piss Victor off. Really? Oh, Nikki. Vance is so smarmy, though. I don't want him touching Nikki. I don't want him around Nikki. I've just never liked him. From the moment that he came into town, I just had weird vibes about him. I feel like he's the kind of guy that would date her just to make himself look better. Like, Vance is just too totally into himself. And yes, I realize, like, I'm a complete hypocrite. Because Victor is really the same. But I'm used to Victor. After 15, 16 years, Victor sort of grows on you. Vance is just, he feels like a smarmy snake oil salesman to me. And I don't like it. I feel like, honestly, I'd rather see Nikki with Deacon than Vance. Really, truly, only Vance could make Deacon look good to me at this point. Because, don't get me wrong, Deacon is no angel. I don't support Deacon. In fact, it makes me sick to think about what he did to Nikki. It was despicable. And I really just wish, in all seriousness, I just wish that the writers would not have taken Deacon in that direction. I just wish that they never would have paired him up with Maggie. Maggie. Why do I always say Maggie? It's just so unnatural to say Maggie. But I wish that they never would have paired him up with Maggie. Because then I feel like, maybe I could have possibly given Deacon a chance in different ways. But I feel like, even though I don't love him and Nikki together, believe me, I don't. I just feel like at least he's sorry for what he did. And someone who wants forgiveness and genuinely wants forgiveness, I forgive. And I feel like Deacon is trying to make up for what he did. He at least tried to involve Nikki and Victoria this week to try to get Nikki back into rehab. He knows she's drinking again. He wants to help her. And he's not even saying, let me help you. He's trying to genuinely get her help by going to Nick and Victoria. And if Nick and Victoria weren't so consumed with their own lives, then maybe they could have tried a little harder to find out if Deacon was telling the truth. I feel like Nick and Victoria have not been very supportive of Nikki lately. I feel like I'm not expecting them to be, as close to their mom as they probably were growing up. They all have their own lives, and I understand that, but I just feel like Nikki could really use her kids right now. And they weren't there for her when she was in rehab, really. And they're not there for her now. And she needs the help. And if a Deacon is the one that's going to give it to her, then that's fine with me. Whoever's going to get Nikki the help. Although she's oh my gosh, she's venomous right now. I mean, she's just something else. For crying out loud, she was chugging down a flask of liquor at her granddaughter's christening. You guys, in the foyer, no less. Right out in the foyer. For anyone to walk in and see, hello, rock bottom. I mean, come on, Nikki. At least go out to your car and drink it like a real alcoholic. Diane is getting her first new taste of life with control freak Victor. She is getting her just desserts at Crimson Lights this week. Apparently, Nick and Diane shared a look, which I honestly didn't even see that Victor had detected, but apparently Victor detected a look between Diane and Nick, and later at home, Victor told Diane, stay away from my son. Stay away from my son. And it was very subversive. No, it was very subtle. It was very, I know what you did. Without coming right out and saying, I know what you did. It was just, stay away from my son. If Diane is supposed to be your partner, your lover, your friend, you want her to be incorporated into your family. You don't tell her to stay away from your son. It was very that. And Diane was shocked. Of course, she doesn't know that Victor knows about her and Nick. And so she's shocked and looking guilty as sin. She tried to defend herself and so pathetically, but it was clear that she was just absolutely dumbfounded. And of course, she decided then at that point to run to Nick and accuse him of telling Victor, as if she couldn't have been the one to give it away. As if her actions, sneaking over to Nick's house constantly, approaching him every chance she gets, as if she's the one that couldn't have slipped up. But no, of course, it was Nick that would have had to tell Victor. As if Nick would tell Victor. It is far more embarrassing for Nick to admit that he slept and had an affair with Diane than it is for Diane. I feel like things are getting really nasty between Diane and Nick. They are. I mean, it's no more love on either end. It doesn't even feel like it's any more, oh, what could have been on either end. It's just straight up nasty, which is kind of sad because even though I was kind of getting over them being a couple, I was feeling it a little bit there for a while, and then it started fading away, like, well, maybe it just won't work out. But I still liked their friendship. I liked the dynamic between the two, and so it's sad that they can't still be friends. And really, now every time Nick looks at Diane, all he sees is a money grubber. And there just ain't no way of getting past it, because frankly, at this point, when I look at her, that's what I see, a money grubber. And Nick took one look at that mound of diamonds that she was wearing on her neck that Victor gave her as a wedding gift, and his look just said it all. She looked at him, saw his expression, and she felt ashamed. You could just feel that she felt ashamed, and she took it off. She took the necklace right off as if it just didn't feel good having it on, which is so telling. She feels ashamed of herself, and really, she should. I really think she should. I wish Diane would have had more conviction in this situation. And so it's so awkward. It's so horrible and creepy. Later at the ranch, Diane comes home without the necklace. Victor notices that she doesn't have the necklace on, and this is where it gets really creepy. I almost threw up. Victor makes her get the necklace out of her purse, and he says to her something like, you are Victor Newman's wife now, and I bought you this necklace, and I want you to wear it. And he takes it out from her hands and slowly puts it back on her neck. And Diane is standing there like she's wearing these dirty diamonds, like they're dirty and filthy, and she doesn't even want them on her. And every time that Victor touches her or does something that he thinks is nice for her, I just get the sense that she feels like a whore. Like this relationship with Victor, marrying him and compromising herself this way, like she just feels like a whore. A dirty, filthy whore. Daniel is cuter than ever this week. He is adorable. I am way more into him than I've been into him in a long time. He is, first of all, he's not doing the stupid ponytail. That's the number one most important thing. Stupid ponytail seems to have been exhausted. But seriously, he was bringing snacks over to Lily's house to watch basketball with her. I just thought it was so cute, and he's just being all clever and funny, and it was between Daniel and Lily, no romance. It was just friendship, I believe, and that's how I like it. I like them as friends. I enjoy their friendship. I don't even remember them being married. I mean, I know they were. I was watching at the time, but it's fallen into the back of my memory, and I'm not interested in reliving it. There's been a lot of reminiscing between them about when they were married, and they certainly do have a good rapport, but I am so not in a rush to get Lily into another relationship. Let her be alone for a while. Let her develop into a strong woman, get a job, do something for herself. There's no need to force her into another relationship with anyone. And Kane agrees with me. Don't you think it's too soon to be kissing someone else? Says Kane's ghost. So, among the other creepy things that have been happening to Lily lately, she receives a mystery text from Kane, apparently, that says, "Don't you think it's too soon to be kissing someone else? Signed, C." And it was from a phone number that it's no longer in service. First of all, the kiss was nothing. It was just friends. Just a friendly peck. Second of all, what do you guys think? This is the most important thing. At this point, what do we think? Is Lily being visited by Kane's ghost? Or is she totally losing her mind? Is it all in her head? Is it just a projection? I'm sure that's not an uncommon reaction to have when, you know, your loved one has been lost suddenly and tragically. So, I mean, I guess, you know, it's all a projection. Anything that we might interpret as everything out of this storyline, I think it's probably just a projection of our personal experiences. But let me know what you think. Do you feel like it's possible that, you know, just because, I think as Daniel said this week, just because, you know, if you have a love that's intense, just because one of you leaves this place doesn't mean that the love is gone. So do you believe that? Do you think that it's possible that Kane is communicating with Lily from beyond the grave, or are you kind of more of a pragmatic person? Do you think that Lily is maybe just imagining it to kind of compensate, to try to make herself feel better for her loss? Let me know what you think. I'm curious to know. I know you guys have theories. So Daniel actually seemed a little bit less attentive to Lily after he heard the story about the text message. He was very sympathetic up until that point, and then I got the feeling that he was kind of pulling away, but it might just have been the fact that Daniel has a lot on his mind right now. His girlfriend is in the business, basically, of taking off her clothes and getting arrested, and that's got to weigh on a guy. I feel like Daniel he's seemed to accept that this is all part of Abby's shtick, but I'm wondering, how long is he really going to be able to put up with this? He's getting older and she's younger than him, and I feel like, especially if Daniel starts to have feelings for Lily again, is he going to want to continue to put up with Abby's childishness? Because, like, Lily is, in my opinion, the embodiment of class. The girl has class. Neil Andrew raised her right. She's a classy broad. And Abby is the embodiment. She's just the embodiment. I wonder how long Daniel's gonna find that cute and charming, if it's gonna start to wear on him. But also, Daniel was involved in other things this week. He's been very active. He was involved with Michael in tracking down Daisy. So basically, that means he tagged along on Michael's trip. He didn't do a whole lot. Basically, they found Daisy in a dingy hotel room. Michael tries to get the truth out of Daisy. When she won't talk, he runs off to get the authorities, tells Daniel to watch Daisy, and as soon as Michael's gone, Daniel basically says, "Look, Daisy, I'm gonna let you go. I'm just gonna let you go." And frankly, I hope he does. I have been on Daniel's side 100% since this whole Daisy mess came about. I feel like Daniel has made very sound judgments, and I'm with him. Honestly, if he wants to let her go, I think he should just let her go, because Daisy isn't doing anyone any harm right now. She knows that if she comes back to the United States, she's gonna get busted. She's gonna go to jail for a very long time. So she's not hurting anyone right now, and if they do bring her back to Genoa City, we've seen how that plays out. She will find another way to harass my Lauren. And she'll find out that, especially if she comes into contact with Jana, she will find out that Victoria and Billy have her kid. And that's not going to be good for anybody. We don't want Daisy to get her paws onto that kid. That's just a scary situation. Now, last week, I was like completely off about the lady that Jana met in the church. I had some kind of wacky theory that I don't even remember what it was right now, but just in case anybody is relying on me for updates, apparently the lady that Jana ran into in the church was the lady who originally found Lucy in the church and sold her to Rose DeVille for money. And now she's very, very ashamed. I don't know how I missed that. I kind of barely even remember it. I didn't register it as being a crucial storyline or a pivotal point in the storyline, so I guess I didn't register it. And hey, nobody's right 100% of the time, so forgive me. But so now this lady feels really guilty about the fact that she found a baby and sold it to a horrible, horrible woman. Rose DeVille, Ellen Green, so nice to see her again, love her. And so now she's spilling her guts to Jana. It's kind of like a poker game back and forth. Jana wants information, this lady seems to want information, and sooner or later the truth is going to come out. I'm just hoping that if Jana finds out the truth, I'm hoping that doesn't mean that Ryder is going to find out the truth, because if Daisy has been talking to Ryder, and if she told him in the first place about where she left the baby, then that means that Daisy is feeling guilty and wondering where her child is. And if that's the case, Daisy isn't going anywhere. Last time on The Young and the Restless, Chance was faced with the decision of whether or not to testify against the bad cops or rush off and rescue Heather. And I, for one, was really glad that he decided to testify against the bad cops. Not just because I dislike Heather. That's not entirely it. I feel like Chance needed to do this. He needed to get this done. He had to put this case to rest. He's been working on it, his case, alive and dead, for years now. It was time. He needed some closure on this, and I'm glad that he did. I'm glad he went through the motions. I'm glad Pomerantz, they apparently cut a deal, and now they're bye-bye. They're in maximum security prison. And I'm glad that Chance had a chance to resolve that. And even, honestly, Paul told him to testify, and it was Paul's daughter's life that was on the line. And what a hard decision that was for Paul, because he knew the importance of this case. He knew also that it was important to Heather, and he told Chance to go forward to testify and that they would worry about saving Heather later. And that was a huge sacrifice for Paul, and I have to tell you that it was a million times harder watching Paul suffer than anybody else, than Chance, than Heather, than anybody. But Paul, he was so scared for her. He has not had a relationship with his daughter for a very long time, and he's always wanted to be closer to her, even when she was super cold to him. And it was hard. He was very scared for her, and it was difficult watching him panicking like that. And I was glad that Nina was there for him. But hey, Heather had everything under control. There was nothing to worry about. Angelo, the all-purpose bad guy, he's basically just the bad guy now in Genoa City. He was given the signal by Pomerantz before Pomerantz got convicted. Angelo was given the signal to just go ahead and kill Heather. And so, what does he do? He leaves. Angelo apparently has a clause in his contract that says that he does not have to kill women. Aww. Isn't that adorable? That's so cute. He doesn't have to kill women. He's a bad guy, but no women. He'll murder someone in cold blood, but not the women. It's so nice. He's a gentleman killer with a heart of gold. And animals. He likes animals too. Oh, Angelo. So Angelo just leaves. But he leaves Heather trapped inside of this taxidermy place, and she can't get out. She's managed to get the blindfold off, manages to get the ropes off of her wrists, but she goes to the door. She can't get out. She's trapped inside. The one thing she has is on the floor. She finds a book of matches, and she has the brilliant idea to light a fire? I don't get it. She must have been absolutely frazzled, because it's not a good idea to set a house on fire that you're trapped inside. That would be like the least good idea ever. I guess she must have been trying. I don't understand. The only thing I could come up with is that Heather was trying to light a fire in the fireplace so that the smoke would come out the chimney and that they would find her. I mean, because surely she could not have meant. But see, that's what I don't understand. Why did she use the turpentine? She used the turpentine to wet this rag and then light the fire. I mean, she could have just lit a fire in the fireplace. I just felt like clearly the fire got away from her. I don't think she meant to, but it got away from her, and she's trapped inside. She's passed out inside, and Paul and Chance happen to be driving by, looking for her at exactly this time. They've kind of pinned down the location, and they notice that this house is on fire, so they rush in, and they're able to save Heather just in time. Yay! Heather's alive for another day. Ugh. So, here's the sad part. Chance picks her up, carries her out of the burning building, sets her down outside, and tells her that he loves her. "It's you," he says. "You're the one. I love you." He declares his love sweetly and truly and honestly for Heather. End scene. Cut to the next day. Heather's back at work, practicing law like nothing happened. What? Chance has to dress up in a black hat and sunglasses to go to the coffee shop for a couple of minutes for his own safety, yet Heather is completely out of the woods? Nobody wants to kill her? What is going on here? If there's a threat for Chance, there's a threat for Heather. The bad guys didn't try to kill Heather because of her testimony. They tried to kill Heather because she was Chance's girlfriend. That was the point. And now she's not even that. Here's the true tragedy of the whole thing. Heather is dodging Chance now. He declares his love for her, and now she's squirming around. She doesn't seem to want to talk to him. This poor guy, it was like Chloe all over again. Declared his love, tried to propose to Chloe, she turned him down. He reveals his feelings for Heather, she turns him down. What is going on here? She won't return his phone calls now. She didn't acknowledge the things that he said to her after he saved her life. And frankly, she won't even look him in the eye and give him a straight answer about anything. She's being really, really shady. What's up? It's just one of the many reasons I don't understand this character. The only thing that she said to Chance when he approached her, he approaches her, he's like, "Look, it's been days I haven't heard from you. I told you I love you and you haven't said anything to me. What's up?" The only thing that she said to even give a little bit of indication was that she said something like, "I thought you were dead." Like implying like she needs some time to process all of this. Like, "I thought you were dead and now you love me." Well, you know what, Heather? That didn't seem to bother you when you were sleeping with him last week. What's going on, you guys? You're much more level-headed than me. about the whole Chance and Heather thing. Anything where Heather's concerned, you're much more level-headed than me. So what do you think is going on? Does she love Chance? Is she just trying to protect him? Is she trying to stay away from him for his own good? Thinking he will go back into witness protection if she doesn't return his feelings? Or does she still love Ronan? And where in the heck is Ronan? I'm confused. I'm confused by her reaction. I'm confused. You guys tell me what you think. Leave me a comment. I need to know. Level me out here. What's going on? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So Adam tracked down Koa. Now that's the Hawaiian shopkeep guy. I'm going to officially start calling him by his name, Koa. Adam tracked this guy down at his favorite bar in Thailand. And Adam managed to slip the bartender a couple of bucks to get Koa wasted, passed out, and then Adam got him back to his hotel room. It sounds more nefarious than it is. Adam gets Koa back to the hotel room. He starts snooping around. He's going through all of his stuff. And what does he find? Sharon's camera. I knew that camera was still out there. I said it a couple of times. I remember it distinctly. I was like, that camera's the key to Sharon's release. And here it is. Occasionally I'm right about things, like 1 in a million times. But my question is, how did Koa get that camera? I'm still not convinced about how this guy played a role in all of this. How did he get that camera? All of you guys were pretty sure that the camera went over the side of the volcano with Sky into the hot boiling lava. So where did Koa get this camera? And furthermore, why didn't he destroy it? Why would he keep it around? Smash that thing to bits. It's evidence. Well, Adam finds the camera, and before he can even wrap his mind around this new evidence, he's watching the video, looking at the photos, and pop! Koa bashes him over his head. Adam goes down. He's out, and Koa makes an escape. So, when Adam comes to, he realizes that Koa is gone, so is the camera, and Adam is like, crap. This was Sharon's only chance for getting out of jail, and it slipped through my fingers. Adam is hating himself, because back in Genoa City, Sharon is in jail. The judge just denied her bail, and worst of all, she has to wear an orange jumpsuit. Oh, the humanity! That orange jumpsuit goes with nothing. You can tell that's just killing her. But hope is not lost. Luckily, Sharon's worst enemy, Phyllis, has followed Adam to Thailand. Basically, Adam is on Koa's tail and Phyllis is on Adam's tail. It's kind of interesting. And I really love the dynamic between Adam and Phyllis. We saw a little bit of it in New Orleans, and we're seeing it now, and I really like it. I feel like they have a great dynamic. You're gonna kill me for this, but there was a moment where I thought, I kind of think Adam and Phyllis would be hot. I wouldn't mind seeing it just once. I want to see it once. They're sharing that room in Thailand now. Thailand is, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand. So, I'm just saying, if that happened, we can forget about it. We can just see it once and then forget about it. I'd be down. I'm interested in seeing that. I just like them together, and I feel like now Phyllis is starting to see Adam in a different light. At the very least, Phyllis knows that Sharon didn't kill Sky. Phyllis knows that very well. And so she has resolved to help Adam find the truth. She's gonna get out there, they're gonna track down Koa and get their hands on that camera and get Sharon out of jail. And don't worry, they're gonna find Koa, because he's not gonna make it very far without his giant boxer shorts. Okay, those are my thoughts for this week. Extra long version. I'm gonna expect to see a ton of comments. It was a pretty busy week. I mean, I didn't intend to make a really long video. There was just a lot going on. It's dynamic. And I'm really, really excited to see what you guys think. There's lots of opportunities for you to get your 2 cents in here. So don't just sit back and listen. You gotta feed back. You gotta plant the seeds in my mind. Tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. Give me a new perspective. I really love hearing from you, and I can't wait to hear what you think. So leave me a comment. I will do my best to respond, and I'll see you next week. We'll chat about the show. It'll be fun. Alright, you guys, I love ya. I'll see you next time. Bye!